안녕하세요, 주건노트입니다. 가시죠. How common is it to possess a gun in the United States?
I'd say at least over 50%, probably like 60, 65, I would guess.
Definitely for the guys. Most guys I know have guns here. In the north, probably a lot less, maybe 25% or less. A lot more hunting in the south, so a lot more gun ownership down here.
I'm from Alabama. In high school, all my guy classmates typically owned guns, whether it was for hunting reasons or whether they just wanted to. But in America as a whole, probably like 50 or less. Yeah, I would say just as a whole, maybe.
My dad has 2 guns, so.
My dad got about 7, 8, 9.
7 and 9.
Wow.
Well, why that many? Do you know?
Most of the time it's for protection, but at that point it just become like a fashion thing, kind of, I guess.
It started off with protection in America. Also, I guess it depending on what community in America, what part of America. A lot of people like to shoot and for like game. They go hunting and stuff like that. But
it's very common. You can literally go anywhere and find a gun. It doesn't have to be bought legally because there are people who sell them illegally. Like legal people who buy a bunch of guns and sell their guns to people who don't have the qualifications to purchase guns themselves.
So it's pretty easy to get a gun.
Right.
oh yeah, really easy.
Pretty easy.
And what are your thoughts on having guns in America? Do you think it should be legal for citizens to own a gun, or what do you think?
What do you think?
I think so. I mean, I think it's everyone's own choice to hold one, just how you use it.
I think there was a quote by like the Japanese emperor when he was afraid of attacking America because he said there'd be a gun hiding behind every blade of grass. It's an important part of our culture, our national defense.
I feel like it's hard to say if they should be illegal or not because some people use them for protection or only for like important purposes. You have other people who don't use it for other purposes, or their version of like important things are like a little less to our standard of what we think is important.
For say in other countries, police they don't carry guns around like they do in America. In America, police have so much guns. I feel like in a way some people are carrying guns not per se to counter the police, but in a way like since the police have so much guns, they want to be armed themselves.
And sometimes it is also to counter the police because not all police are really for you. And we've seen that in like many instances, or like many examples that we've seen that like police could like act brutal towards the people when the people haven't even done anything. So it's kind of like protection for themselves. So it's like every man for themselves almost.
And you know that there are like many accidents like mass shooting, suicides, and etc. Do you think owning a gun contributed to that matter, or what do you think?
I feel like it's all mental. It's all mental.
I would say no, because if you have that thought and if you don't have a gun, you're gonna find another way to do it. I feel like if you really want to like in your life or like kill or something, even if you don't have a gun, you're gonna go to the next best thing and try to use that to do what you want to do.
I feel like it does definitely contribute because guns are so accessible. People could mentally ill people or whatever type that want to do harm, they could go and grab a gun from anywhere, and that contributes in a big way to mass shootings and stuff like that.
A lot of the shootings that you see by younger people, it's typically theirs or somebody in their family's gun. So I think it's attributable to that.
And you can seem very normal and go off and do a mass shooting. It's proven. We've seen it.
So, do you think there should be more regulations, or do you think it's fine as it is right now?
Definitely more.
I feel like a lot of people just abuse their power when they have a gun, so there should definitely be a lot more in-depth steps that they take for you to be able to get a gun, because it's really easy. I could go get a gun right now very easily, and I don't think that's right. I don't think I should be able to have a gun. No.
But maybe there could be more mental screening, maybe a longer process to make sure someone is mentally fit.
I think they put up like the majority of the rules and regulations they can, but it doesn't stop like a kid from taking his dad's gun.
I don't think the regulations will do anything because people are still going to find a way to get them.
See, that's the thing. Like, I want there to be regulations. However, like I said before, people who are already like qualified to buy guns, they can buy multiple guns and sell them to people who aren't qualified. That cycle is still going to happen. So although I may want it to be, I don't think it's going to.
I feel like it should go way back to the Constitution. I think the Second Amendment, bear arms. When it was originally written, you have to think about, and now and back then, how do we define the term arms? Back then, they had rakes and stuff to bear arms, so we got to think about how, because we can't rewrite the Constitution, we can't add amendments and stuff like that, but we have to think about how we define arms in today's time.
Like, if you could choose, which would you prefer? Everyone has a gun or no one has a gun?
Everyone has a gun.
Oh man.
I feel like
I
someone would
That's hard.
not feel like they need to shoot me if they knew I could shoot them back.
I would say no one has a gun. If no one has a gun, then it's free for all.
It's still free for all when everyone. has
Okay,
a
yeah.
gun.
I mean, okay, it's easier to shoot someone than beat them up.
I would say no one has a gun as well. When you say no one, you talking about regular citizens or military or?
Except for police and military.
Oh, yeah, I say everyone.
Nah, everybody has
should
a
have
gun. If the police have guns,
Actually,
I feel like
I'll-
everybody should have a gun.
I'll say no one because it's
No.
a difficult.
No.
Because then you have police abuse, you have militaries taking over, like a military state, stuff like that. And then it's impossible to overthrow. Like say you want, it comes a time where we want to revolt, overthrow the government, stuff like that. But safety terms, I'll say no one should have a gun.
Yeah, for safety purposes. But then I feel like if like we all don't have guns and just police have guns, like they can use that as like power over us. You get me? In a way. So then I feel like right now, like they're not as powerful because they know people around have guns. Like their lives are threatened. But if we don't, then they have less threat on themselves, so they can apply more power on us.
Is there anything you want to add or say about the topic?
I'm just glad we have the right to bear arms.
Yeah, freedom to decide what we want to do is something that we can appreciate for sure.
I agree with that.
I think I would just like to add that I hope our generation is the one to make change because we firsthand witnessed horrible acts of violence, and I'm hoping and I'm hopeful that we will make the change.
Yeah, and it was, when Trump was elected president and everything was going on, this topic was more of a buzz, and recently it hasn't been, and I could see that on the media, and it's kind of gone down a little bit, and we need to make sure it goes back up because it's still something that happens every day, and you don't always necessarily see it on the news. Like, kids every single day shoot themselves or others just because they find their parents' gun, and like that's a really big issue that we need to fix. So.
지금까지 시청해주신 분들 그리고 인터뷰 응해주신 분들 모두 감사합니다. 다음에 더 좋은 영상으로 찾아뵙겠습니다.